What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday. And it's Wednesday. We're at the middle of the week. We're getting over that hump, and we appreciate you getting over that hump of the week with us, Ryan Ripken Show, live at 5-ish today. I'll apologize for that. I'm the problem. It's me. But guess what? We got a lot of topics here to talk about, and we have two great guests joining us on today's show. First hour of the show, we'll talk some ball, and I mean baseball, because the winter meetings are approaching. The hot stove is warming up, and it seems like the temperature on some of the top options out there is starting to get a little steamy. But then in the second half of the show, because we have Ravens Steelers week, Zach, which we'll bring that up in a second, but it's also the 25th anniversary of the Ravens winning Super Bowl 35. They're being honored on Sunday. So the guy that caught the first touchdown pass in Super Bowl 35, Brandon Stokley, is going to join us at the top of the hour. And then I guess you can call him the voice of sports. Honestly, Zach, one of the most iconic. Jim Nantz is going to join us later on. He'll kind of get us ready for this Sunday's game. He's on the call with Tony Romo, but also he's been around quite a bit. I'm sure he has a moment or two or 10 that involve the Baltimore Ravens and just the landscape of sports in general. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Zach, hey, how you doing? Happy Wednesday, my friend.
Happy Wednesday. I'm actually just now seeing YouTube has a YouTube recap. Have you seen this? You seen this? You see this?
No.
Yeah, apparently, you know, like Spotify Wrapped. Yeah, so apparently YouTube's doing this, and Joe, appreciate you. We were in Joe's top 5 watched on YouTube. Appreciate you. So yeah, I guess that's a thing this year. So if you have us in your top 5, appreciate you. Appreciate that. But yeah, no, getting over the hump on a Wednesday. Pretty eventful show, I would say. You know, just a few fun guests.
Yeah, it should be a fun time here on the show. And, look, we got actually a lot of guests kind of lined up. We have another guest tomorrow. I told our Ribs Better kids already, did a little live, and that's where Brooks is going, hey, where's that jacket? Yeah, I was wearing a jacket earlier when I did that little live. Told you guys who our guests were today. But then I also previewed who's going to be on the docket for tomorrow, and then also didn't talk about it yet because I want to see where it goes. Who could also be on docket the rest of the week. As we get closer to the winter meetings, by the way, should be a lot of fun. But if you want to see more behind-the-scenes content, click that join button. It means a lot to us and the channel as we continue to grow. Zach, hold on for a second. Before we get into this, come here.
I knew as soon as you zoomed out, I was like, Jesus.
It gets the people going. You know what also gets the people going? I want to shout out Merit Clubs, by the way. Merit Clubs, they just had their Cyber Monday where you could join for $1 the rest of the year. They might still be allowing you to do that, but if you don't want to join, that's fine. But if you want to see if that offer's there, $1 rest of the year, go to meritclubs.com. I think they said screw it. That's actually the deal until the rest of the year, Zach. So $1, join Merit Clubs, go to meritclubs.com. And how do you spell $1, Zach?
MERRITT.
And when I move, you move.
Just like that.
Just like that. And one more time, hey, come here. Come here, Zach. Look at me. Come here. Let's get into this show now. What's our first topic?
First topic, we got a little baseball news because obviously we're going to have a lot of football things to talk about in the second hour of the show. But obviously it seems like right now, if there's not a signing, it's just a bunch of rumors. But maybe an interesting rumor and something that I wanted to talk about because I don't want to say jokingly, but I did my little windy a few weeks ago when talking about a potential landing spot for this slugger. But earlier today, John Heyman reported, and Ken Rosenthal, Reds are indeed interested in hometown hero Kyle Schwarber. Would be quite the coup if they could pull it off. Red Sox, Orioles, Pirates, and others, including, of course, the incumbent Phillies, all in 56 home runs, 23 versus left-handed pitching, obviously plays. Brian, we're getting to that point of the offseason, I won't lie, where I feel like every day it's just these teams are interested in these guys. These teams are interested in these guys. I'm not sure where Kyle Schwarber ends up, but I do think there's a possibility that it's in Cincinnati. I said it before and I'll say it again. It makes a lot of sense, especially him, being protection for Ellie. Now they got to put up the money, but we've talked about how talented that pitching rotation is. Still need the bullpen to get there, but hey, it would be interesting. It would be intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Schwarber immediately makes any lineup better. That's no question. But when you're looking at a need, the Reds need more offense. And this is why we went to that Hunter Green conversation in the past. If you are trying to win, you go out and get Kyle Schwarber. You don't trade Hunter Green, because the Reds then, not only do they go, Zach, from being, this is an exciting team. I'd be curious what the books have them in Vegas. I think the Reds would push up to contending to win that division. They could even be a dark horse in the National League by adding Kyle Schwarber. Like, that's the impact that he has, that you can go at the top of the order. The guy can hit 40 jacks, driving 100 runs. And then, by the way, you have a veteran manager, a talented pitching staff that's still relatively young but talented, and then obviously Elly De La Cruz, one of the best talents in the league. Now, Ellie's got to continue to progress with his skills, cut down the strikeouts, but that becomes a really exciting team. Also, some of their other pieces bouncing back from what was kind of a slower, disappointing year. But yeah, I mean, Cincy, it makes all the sense. Like, all these teams make sense. I still think the Phillies can't let him go. Like, they just can't. But it makes sense. What do you got?
I was going to say, I don't know. We can say all these make sense. I think there is, like, that meme where it's all the soldiers lining up and the ones dressed as a clown. And it's like there's one is not like the other. I would love to see what the contract would have to look like for Kyle Schwarber to be in Pittsburgh. They might be 2 or 3 Kyle Schwarbers away in Pittsburgh, but that would be that one. I agree though. The rest of them, I think the Red Sox are very in on him. I would not be surprised at all if he ended up. Yeah. Exactly. I think they're going for a big bat, whether that's bringing back Bregman, whether that's Pete Alonso, we've heard Kyle Schwarber. They're going to be aggressive. They've shown that they have the funds to pay these guys and that they will go out and pursue and overpay if needed to get these guys. Orioles, we've talked about before. I wanted to point out that, it does say 23 home runs versus left-handed pitching. A lot of people, when talking about, they're so lefty heavy in the lineup. Doesn't matter if you bat left or right. If you're hitting both sides of the plate equally as well, 23 home runs versus lefties, that's going to play. So that doesn't hurt my intrigue at all. Only thing, like we've talked about, and hey, I would get over it if it meant Kyle Schwarber in Baltimore. It's just the position flexibility that you lose with losing that DH spot, because he is the guy you plug in at DH for 155, 160 games a year. Maybe he gets a day off here and there. But overall, that's a good problem to have. It is a good problem to have if you have too many talented bats, more than you know what to do with. So I would be all for it. But if I had to guess, I'd say he's back in Philly or he goes to Boston.
I mean, when I said, Zach, it makes sense for those teams, we could say every team, it would make sense, because would you be a better offense with Kyle Schwarber? Yes. Like, that's what I want to point out. So all those teams that were mentioned, they all need a big bat. Now, realistically, though, when you're looking at the Pirates, one, are you going to spend that money, which you haven't proven that? And then for the Orioles, the same thing. Are you going to change your philosophical belief that the DH has to be a versatile spot instead of just having one guy sit there and get all the at-bats, because that's what Kyle Schwarber would do. The big markets still make the most sense. I just in my plum, Zach, I have a hard time seeing the Phillies letting that dude walk, because I think one of the biggest downfalls for the Philadelphia Phillies would be letting Kyle Schwarber walk, because what he's meant to that city and to that place. And I feel like for Schwarber, the deal with the Red Sox and the Phillies, I think, would be pretty comparable. Like, for money wise, to me, it would. I think that they could get into a bidding war and drive it up. The Reds, if he goes, I don't think it's because the money's going to be so outlandish. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think he goes to Cincy because for ulterior or alternative reasons. So that's how I look at it. If you're saying there's a connection for him, the hometown, being in that area and region, sure. But if you're looking at a money value and looking at a chance to then continue on, the Red Sox are that team that can be very dangerous adding him. And I'm not going to count the Phillies out because of Dave Dombrowski as their president of baseball operations. They're going to continue to make moves. So, and that's not to say that the Orioles and Pirates are not going to be on that list, but I would have to believe it. I'd have to see it. I'd have to literally see it happen. Breaking news to actually sit there and believe it. And I still might not believe it until he wears a different uniform. Like, I'd have to see him in the orange and black or yellow and black.
Yeah, my biggest thing with him leaving Philly would be for the Phillies aspect. Yes, I mean, his production on the field is irreplaceable, but it's also that locker room guy. Everywhere he's gone, it's been like Kyle Schwarber's the leader of the locker room. And let's be honest, Philly has dealt with underperforming expectations in the playoffs, all of that, the pressure. If you have another year of that, but you've lost your locker room leader, your guy that brings everyone together, it just feels like that team would be a ticking time bomb. I feel like there's been a lot of drama throughout Philly over the past, few years with the baseball team. Not going to get into the football team. We all know that they're egging the offensive coordinator's house. But a lot of drama around, expectations and stuff, underperforming. You lose your locker room guy. I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly there's hey, the Phillies have sort of like the Mets did last year. Hey, they were going well. Something happened, and now they're collapsing.
Yeah, I mean, I still buy the Phillies with or without Schwarber. I still buy them, but would I change my tune about them? Yes. Like, they're at a point right now when you're looking at the Phillies. They are ready to win right now. They are not a young team by any means, and they have veterans there that can go out there and be very successful. If they get into the postseason again, they can go and make a run. You could argue in this case, Zach, if they beat the Dodgers in that series, Phillies, good chance they go to the World Series. And again, that's for every team. Oh, what if you beat them? No, I thought the Phillies and Dodgers was the matchup in the National League. I love what the Brew Crew did, but the firepower that they had compared to or what the Phillies have compared to Milwaukee, it's not the same. Milwaukee was a more complete team. The Phillies had the veteran and the juice that could get by the Dodgers, and they just didn't. So you lose Schwarber, you're going to have to make that up somewhere else. And it's not in their organization right now that you would see. They'd have to go elsewhere and they'd have to pivot. And so that time will tell. Now, without Schwarber, they're still a playoff team in my mind, but if it's going to be hard for me to consider them as a top contender losing that type of offensive firepower. And dude, that'd be a gut punch to the fan base too. Like that guy is beloved, man. He is.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie though. I'm looking at their lineup. If you lose Schwarber, I think they're a playoff team, but I don't think they do anything. I mean, Bryson Stott, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Alex Boehm, Brandon Marsh, but then the rest of your lineup, Nick Castellanos, a negative 0.6 WAR last year. Rafael Marchand, 0.3 WAR. You have Otto Kemp, negative 0.2 WAR. You then have a rookie who's never played in Justin Crawford. If you lose Ranger Suarez, obviously they're going to add to this team. But even the bullpen, was not great. And that was their big Achilles heel last year. I don't know how dangerous they are if they lose a guy like Schwarber. So I'm the more I look at this, I think it is just number one priority. They have to get Schwarber back. I just don't know how. I feel like he holds this lineup together. He makes them way deeper, past the fifth spot than they need to be. Obviously, Nick Castellanos and guys like that, they have kind of, are showing their age. It happens, but it just feels like maybe, you mentioned they're not the youngest team. A lot of these guys on the wrong side of 32. Their big bats are all in their 30s, 32, 33, 34. It feels like there's just a lot of pressure in Philly, and if you can't get Schwarber back, that's a massive hit to the lineup. Plus, you're losing your guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, we've seen the results when you take a valuable member from his play on the field and his impact off of it. And it's not saying that Schwarber's going to go off and do that somewhere else, right? He could go and hit 56 jacks. But the thing was that, it worked with your team. So Santander was the example in Baltimore last year. It worked with him. You realized he might not have his those types of years, but for 3 straight years, he was your best offensive player. And then he went to the Blue Jays, where they're buying the production that he had the last years, but he's going to a different place, new situation, and he's hurt. There's no guarantee that the grass will be greener elsewhere. So I think that's something that I think Schwarber is going to think about, but I do think Schwarber understands himself as a hitter. But for the Phillies, they understand what they know they're going to get with him. If things aren't that MVP caliber level, they still know what the baseline is for Kyle, and that is a very good offensive player. And time will tell. I still would be shocked if he ends up with a smaller team, market team like Baltimore. If he does, well, then damn, that changes a lot of opinions on how you think about the Baltimore Orioles in the American League East. So time will tell. Money will be spent this spring training. This off season. Winter meetings are right around the corner, Zach. That's usually when the dominoes start to fall. But I thought then it's kind of fun. We could look back a little bit over the last few years on some of these big contracts. Do I have that correct? Do I have that right?
Yeah. And we'll go over the past 4 or 5 years. We're going to start with 2021 offseason. So I'll share my screen so that we can look through that. But these are the highest AAV contracts handed out in the offseason of 2021. I think this exercise gives us a better look, one, on, kind of the contracts over the years, but two, how sometimes just because you paid the most money doesn't mean it always works out. So, number one, the highest guy, Trevor Bauer, in 2021, I think it's safe to say that did not work out, but that is for a million other reasons that we don't need to get into. So I think we go to George Springer, where, hey, you say what you want about the Blue Jays. Obviously, Vladdy, obviously, Bo Bichette. They had Barger, Lucas, all those guys step up, Ernie Clement, to really solidify, that run. But George Springer was Mr. October for them. And this is not a guy that it was like, hey, they just found George Springer. They brought him in on a cheap contract. This was a guy that got a 6-year, $150 million contract. They spent the money, and hey, it didn't work out the first few years. And I'm not saying, he was a disappointment or anything, but you didn't get to where you were hoping to go with him. Then you get him, you get in the playoffs, you have a legit chance as the number one team. And George Springer does what you brought George Springer in to do. He is a playoff player. He elevates in October. It's exactly what he did. And if they win that, there's a good chance we're looking at George Springer and saying he's the reason, or one of the biggest reasons.
One of the reasons. And here's the thing, like Springer, you could argue that was his best season. You could argue that's one of his best seasons, period, of his career, of what he did this year offensively. Now, I still am going to take the George Springer when he was in Houston and what he was doing, but postseason Springer this year, as well as what he did in the regular season for the Jays, if you won the World Series, that number on the contract, it's all worth it to people because you want to win. But the point here that you're talking about, spending money is valuable, but spending money is not going to lead to championships. It's not directly correlated. It depends on who you sign. Like, that's the biggest part here. And so when we look at these deals, Marcus Stroman, that was a 1-year deal for him, but 18 mil. Kevin Gausman was a good addition for the Giants. That's where he found it. Real Muto, I like that signing a lot. That was a stable one. Brantley is great, but even look at that value, 16 mil a year, Zach, for Brantley. And he was, when he was on the field, dude's a really good ball player, especially swinging the bat. But there's going to be risk. So on this list, probably teams would say, hey, you know what? That value was solid or good. And the other side saying, you know what? Like, yeah, indifferent or underperformed, at least for what people were hoping it to be. The Trevor Bauer case is the biggest thing to remind people that things can happen. Wherever you stand on it, the reality is the Dodgers, they made that move and it did not help them win games. And Marcus Semien, now he's on the Mets, but Marcus Semien got signed with the
Toronto on a 1-year prove-it deal.
Toronto at that time.
Sorry,
let me back it up. Marcus Semien didn't play off for the Blue Jays, but his time then eventually when he went to the Rangers did pay off, but not there in Toronto. Not what they were hoping for that would help them win games. But overall, very good player. But it's a good little exercise. Zach, what do we have next?
Yeah, so moving on next, we're going to go to 2022, where this was a very big season. Now, obviously, guys, that we just talked about with Marcus Semien back on the slate there. This is very, Semien went out there, and like you say, it didn't work out for Toronto winning games, but for Semien, played in all 162. He got 45 homers, 102 RBIs. So, he was what they were hoping for. The rest of the team, obviously wasn't great, but this was, looking back, this was what a class. The biggest why I still get is the Chris Bryant thing. I mean, that still doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I mean, besides that, I mean, this was a great class.
That was a good class. Overall, there's an example where a lot of things worked out. And you're right. I wanted to preface on the Marcus Semien. The dude did his part. Like, so when someone comes over and they do their part, that's all you can ask for the contract. But Semien's obviously value came to fruition when the Rangers went on to win the World Series. But you know who also helped them win that? The guy that's at the top of that list. Yeah. So in this case, the Rangers hit twice in that situation. Corey Seager, one of the best stops in the game, still is. Health has obviously been a concern, but there's the example. Freddie Freeman, I'd say you can argue that has been their most valuable free agent asset outside of Shohei Ohtani over the years. Yeah. And, the Javi Baez, look, Javi Baez living up to that number? Probably not. Did he earn it at the time? Yes. Mm-hmm. But there you are once again. And the Chris Bryant, man, the fall off there was wild. And the Rockies were so uncompetitive. It just, all of that looking back just didn't seem to make sense. But Chris Bryant got paid. He deserved to get paid. But whoa.
This was also the offseason where Carlos Correa, that whole thing, where he was he a Met first and then he was a Giant? Yep. And then he ended up in the middle of the night. It was like 2 a.m. I'll never forget that. At 2 a.m., it was just like, oh, by the way, Carlos Correa is a Minnesota Twin. So, I think, and honestly, Trevor Story, up until really this, like, he's been disappointing kind of in Boston. A lot of these contracts, Robbie Ray, that was coming off a year where I think did he win? Was that the year after he won the Cy Young? Yeah, so this is coming off the year he wins the Cy Young. And since then, I mean, he posted a 2-1 WAR. He had a 3.71 ERA in the first year in Seattle. Then he had an 8.10 ERA in only one appearance, pitched 7 games in 24. And then this year kind of got a little bit back on track, 32 games, 3.65 ERA. But if you're Seattle, I'm not thinking that you're looking at that contract saying that was, we're so hyped that, this worked out. I don't think that, you're looking back ecstatic on the results you've gotten from Robbie Ray. So just because you pay these guys top dollar does not mean it's going to be this franchise altering move.
No, I mean, I'm looking at all of this. God, I still can't get over this class.
Okay. Just to let you know, Mark Andrews just signed a 3-year extension.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty damn cool for Mark Andrews. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So we will get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into all that
in a little bit.
It popped up on my phone. I saw Mark Andrews' future in Baltimore is secure, and I was like, "What is this about?" Yeah,
right,
Mark Andrews.
That kind of makes you feel. Well, you know what? We'll save that for the second hour.
Yeah, we'll save that. We'll save that. Jump the gun, but my reaction spoke for itself, and then
how about that? You know what? Good for Mark Andrews, man. I actually. People might not think it or feel this way. I think he's had a good year. I think obviously a lot of instability there so far with the injuries, but he is Mr. Dependable. I think overall he's a good tight end, but everyone's going to ask, what the hell does that mean for Likely? We can talk about that later on after this. Let's get through the baseball part here.
Yeah.
Jack, what's the next class we got?
We got the 2023 class. I did not see that coming. This one, God, it was this one.
Goodness gracious.
Aaron Judge, Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts. Actually, is this in? Yeah, I want to make sure that we're going. All right, there we go. I want to make sure that it's by average AAV. Gosh, I forgot Justin Verlander got that much from the Mets. Yeah. I mean, there's your example of just because you're giving these guys top dollar does not mean it's going to be earth changing. I mean, he pitched 1 year. Yeah. With the Mets.
He got traded that year.
Yeah.
He got traded that year. All these deals, the DeGrom deal, he missed that year, right? He came and got hurt, right? If I got that correct, because 2023 came back at the end of last year. And then pitched all this year. Overall, those numbers too, solid. If you're going to say a high number for Bassett, but it's still a 3 year, $63 million. I think that value is still good. Also goes to show you where things are. And man, I still don't look at Aaron Judge as in that category. No way he was going to leave. Aaron Judge, probably for the amount of money that he had, Zach, of all the deals, that one's paid off the most because Aaron Judge has been the best hitter, just been the best when he plays. So that is well,
remember Arson Judge in San Francisco? That was a weird, I know everyone was like, he's always was I think he was really close to going to San Francisco. I think he maybe, and maybe this was all a thing for him to be like, yeah, we're really close just to get those extra dollars out of New York. And that's where he wanted to stay. But yeah, I remember that whole Arson Judge thing. The Jacob deGrom thing has worked out. Carlos Correa extending his time in Minnesota, which definitely I would say didn't work out just because Minnesota found out a few years later. They're like, I don't think we can pay this guy. It's not even that it's really his production.
They couldn't pay a lot of guys. Is what we found out in the process.
Suddenly they were like, wait a second. We said we were going to be able to play these guys, and I'm not sure we can. I think, hey, another example, Xander Bogaerts. If you ask anyone in San Diego, that has been a disappointment. That's been a massive disappointment. And honestly, it has handcuffed that franchise in a lot of ways. So I think really this exercise is showing that, yeah, there are a lot of good players on the market, but just because you sign a great player, it's kind of like prospects. Like just because you get the top prospect, they still have to go out there and perform. Just because you go sign the best guy doesn't mean that's going to translate to a new team, new philosophy, new environment and stuff. Like guys do drop off. It's baseball. It's hard.
I think one of the next exercises that we should do, because just looking at the last few years, it's been the deals that are long term. So like Xander Bogaerts, an 11-year deal. It's 11 years. When you look at Trey Turner on his deal, 11-year deal. Now Trey Turner, obviously the bat, the speed. As an offensive player, he's done his part. Defensively, they're wondering how long he's going to stay at short. But that's the part for me, Zach, when I look at this, is when the deals get into the 6-year range, what's going to be the full payoff? Carlos Rodon had a great bounce back with the Yanks, looked really good last year. He continues on. That looks good. Of the one before, though, like Corey Seager, the 10-year deal, they won the World Series, so you're fine. But that's the part here when you're looking at these large dollar amounts. I don't know if we're going to see those types of commitments as much. Like, and this is where you're looking at, where does Kyle Tucker's number go in here, Zach? Like, it's probably a 6 to 8 year deal for Kyle Tucker. Like, in my mind, that's what it is. So when you're looking at these values and looking at what the market is, very curious to see how it's going to play out moving forward. And the average value, I still think the Verlander two for 86. That's a lot of money, 40-some million. But when you look at that compared to the Bogaerts, it's 86 million total to 280 million. That's why the Padres right now make decisions.
A guy like Framber Valdez, they've talked about him, and there are now rumors swirling about maybe his market isn't as great as long-term contract-wise, but it's going to be intriguing to see. I've seen maybe he goes higher AAV and, less years. That could be that could also be something that happens.
Oh, yeah. One thing to watch. And then for the last one, Zach, just from last year, and we can wrap this part up.
And then we just had another signing.
What?
Cedric Mullins to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Whoa. Okay, we can talk. Screw the last part. So
we're done talking about that. Cedric Mullins to the Tampa Bay Rays. 1-year deal pending a physical. Wow.
I'm going to text him Mr. Ray.
Wow.
Watch him bounce back and just absolutely annihilate it down there. He's going to light up the Orioles. That's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen. Oh,
Hey, time out for a second. Hold on. Hey, come here. Seti, good for you, man. I'm happy for you. So there's moves happening here. Moves happening. I want to get the details on that. What?
Do you think Hyde just got there yesterday? Do you think that maybe that had not that was like Hyde was like, oh, you go get Cedric Mullins. Do you think maybe there's a comfort level there?
I think there's an understanding. They probably asked Hyder about him, but the Rays have watched Cedric for all these years. And I think it's honestly, when you think about it, it's a perfect Rays move where they're going, hey, Seti kind of struggled and limped his way through the rest of 2025. He's going to have a prove it deal. And the Rays are like, well, great. The upside is Cedric Mullins could be a very, very solid player that we could flip at the deadline if we want to, or he revitalizes and helps us try to win games. That's how I look at it. This is a Rays move. And Cedric Mullins, I don't care what the metrics are. Seti dude can play the hell out of the outfield. You ask people who they want in center, they want Cedric Mullins. But an interesting fit. Interesting. Well, guess what? Hey, we're going to go down and see Seti down there.
Yeah.
Let's go down and see Seti in Tampa.
Good for Seti. Yeah, no, so many things just happened all at once. We thought that we were like, yeah, we'll go through this, not maybe as much happening. So we'll, ease in on the baseball. We'll go through recent moves. And here we go. We got obviously Mark Andrews news breaks, and then Cedric Mullins to the Tampa Bay Rays. I just tweeted out, he's gonna have a massive game-winning homer against us this year. You just know it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I definitely think the Hyde influence of they definitely asked Hyder about Seti. Like there's no doubt about that in my mind. And you know what I love with Seti though? He's a gamer. He is. Yeah. And whether he struggles or not, he's not going to get down on himself. His demeanor's great. He understands. And I like that he doesn't have any panic. I want to see what the deal numbers are though, Zach, when that gets out here. But good for Seti.
Yeah.
Why can't we just have a normal show one time, huh?
Never.
Got deals going left and right. How am I supposed to chip with that going on?
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if we have anything on how much it is. Yeah, but 1-year deal. I will say, though, disgusting that all of these Cedric Mullins has signed with the Tampa Bay Rays graphics all have him in a Mets uniform. Like, okay, people. Okay, I get it. That's where he's coming from, but let the man get one last pick in an O's uniform.
Oh, yeah. Seti's my guy, man. I'm happy for him. You know, the one thing for guys like him, it brings stability. And I think for Seti on a prove-it side, the Rays aren't going to be the ones where they're expected to go and compete. But I think he's going to go into a good situation. But this is where the primary and secondary markets are going to be fascinating. There's not a lot of center fielders that are out there too, Zach, like truly center fielders that you're looking for. There are some, right? But Seti looked at an opportunity and knows he's going to be playing. Like he's going to be getting the at-bats. There's the commitment. Yeah, gosh, such a Rays signing. The thing with other guys like Ryan O'Hearn, I think some teams are going to value Ryan a lot, but I think Ryan's going to try to go to a team that, I mean, I'm sure he probably wants to go somewhere in Texas if he could. But overall, I think O'Hearn's market will be interesting, but that's after some of these other big names drop. Seti didn't need that, obviously. So,
yeah, that's what I'm kind of intrigued about. This is kind of early for Cedric, I feel like. I thought that we were going to see the big outfielders go off the board and then the Kyle Tuckers, the Bellingers, and then teams were going to go. But then again, the Rays were never going to get Tucker. The Rays were never going to get Bellinger. So I get why they did it, but I thought, maybe Seti would have a lot of suitors, especially once some names start dropping off the board. But good for him. Tampa Bay, Cedric Mullins, going to look up his stats in Tampa.
Good stuff. GTs for the GT. Well, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. So the two moves we're monitoring right now, two different sports, but related to people that follow the Baltimore teams. Cedric Mullins just signed with the Tampa Bay Rays, and Mark Andrews is extended with the Baltimore Ravens 3-year deal, $39 million. And everyone was wondering or thinking last year was his final season in Baltimore. Well, guess what? That ain't the case. You got 3 more years with Mark. But I think the bigger part is, what does that mean for your other tight ends like Charlie Kohler and Isaiah Likely? Two different skill sets. Mark obviously has been the security blanket, been the most decorated now tight end in Ravens history, and even now the most decorated receiver in Ravens history. So time will tell. And actually, our next guest is going to be joining us here in a few minutes. Well, he's had some big moments. He had the biggest moment in Ravens franchise history at the time when he caught the first touchdown in Super Bowl 35. Brandon Stokley is going to join us at the top of the hour, and we'll talk with him about some of these moments. Catching a Dilfer dime from Trent Dilfer. How about that? Hey, how you doing? Weidel. What?
Just the Dilfer dime. That was good.
Oh, we got to bring that back. You know what? Hey, Zach, come here. You were too young for that.
Yeah, I was literally.
Come here.
When he caught that ball, I was like a year old. I was exactly 1 year old.
I'm aware.
So I remember it like it was yesterday. Came out, got a ring. Came out the womb, got a ring. It's what we do.
That is what you do, huh? That's fascinating to hear. So news and notes, just a little housekeeping work with us. Sunday, winter meetings are going to start. Probably not going to have a lot of coverage on that day. Monday, Tuesday, going to be boots on the ground. A lot of going on. Yeah. Tomorrow, we have a special guest that our Rips Better kids, you guys already know. If you missed it, go to the video, check it out. It's me just moving around and having fun with the Zoomies. And we might have another guest that's going on here, but it's good to look back. People love the stories. They love the perspective. We're going to have a whole lot of that from our guests going on and give you insight into what to expect moving forward too. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be some GTs, Zach.
A lot of GTs.
Some GTs.
A lot of GTs.
Yeah. What's up? What are you thinking?
I'm getting the Twitter post ready, but just for our guest. But I'm laughing at the fact of like just the sheer amount of just literally within a 5-minute period, we just get 2 bombs, and not even really bombs. It was just more unexpected. Cedric isn't going to shatter news, isn't going to shatter the league, but for Baltimore now, not only is it Cedric is, off the table, but you got to face him 12 times. It's a guy, he enjoyed hitting at Camden Yards. So we'll see what happens there. That's definitely, I'm not excited for the extra base hits he takes away from the Orioles hitters next year. That's for sure.
Oh, if it could be a bet that said he's going to have an unreal play at the yard. Yeah, that's not even saying home run, like him having a moment of going, it's Cedric Mullins again. I can't escape him. That will happen.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to Tampa Bay gets to use that meme now. That stinks.
It's moving around here. It's moving around. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Do it live at 5, Monday through Friday. We're mobile today, as you guys know, the big studio we use on Mondays and Thursdays, but we have so much content, especially with the winter meetings. And one more time for the one time, we'll be down in Orlando on Sunday, getting set up. Monday, Tuesday is where the boots on the ground and things get a little bit interesting. Last year was down there having dinner with John Morosi, and then Whammy Juan Soto signs for $750 million. And then the wheels started to turn, and then you could sense the energy. And I believe that the same is going to happen this year down in Orlando. So appreciate that and excited about what this next opportunity is going to be. But in the meantime, it's still football season, Zach. Football is
definitely football. We're in the home stretch
season.
Which I hate. I hate that we're in the home stretch because I feel like part of me when I'm watching these games, I'm like, yeah, this such and such team, they're going to have to figure it out. And then I'm like, we're not in the beginning of the season anymore. Like we are at the end. We have 5, 6 games left. It's crazy to me how fast this season's gone.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey buddy, sorry. Can you hear my dog? Can you hear Ollie barking?
Yeah, I just heard Ollie.
Hey Ollie. Hey Ollie, we have our guest coming on, buddy. Hey.
He's just excited. He's excited. He's
excited about our guest because it's the 25th anniversary for the Ravens winning Super Bowl 35. So the pup is just getting the crowd going. Hey, dude. Okay, he's good. Well,
we're good.
To talk a little bit about and reminisce, there's a rivalry on Sunday. Ravens-Steelers battle for first place right now in the AFC North. But we get to look back and reflect because 25 years ago, the Baltimore Ravens won their first Super Bowl in the history of the franchise. And actually, the man that's joining us now, and Brandon, if you're good, give me a thumbs up. You ready to rock? Boom. This guy actually had, at the time, the biggest moment in Ravens franchise history. First touchdown in franchise history for the Baltimore Ravens. Let's bring on Brandon Stokley.
How we doing, guys?
Brandon, doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I love the dog. Yes, bring more dog. Dog was more excited than anyone else has ever been for me to come on. So I love that.
Yeah, he's so Brandon, I got a 3-year-old golden retriever. His name's
Oh,
Ollie.
wow.
He's been voted best studio pup for the last 2 years by me. So I'm at home right now, and yeah, he's excited. You know what? I might bring him up here in a moment. Yeah, I'll bring him up here.
You should.
So I gotta ask, maybe to start this off. I got a baseball background, Brandon. Grew up baseball family, and a lot of the stories that we have from starting our journey, if you get into professional baseball, is the minor league stories. For us, it was bus trips, going to places you may have never heard of, and experiences that are just one of a kind. I know the NFL is a little bit of a different landscape, but do you either have a welcome to the NFL moment or one of those moments that you still remember from your beginning days as you started your career?
Oh, of course. I mean, it was Tony Saragusa, the late great Tony Saragusa. He welcomed me to the NFL, not very nicely. So I hated that guy, and I was scared for my life every single day my rookie year during training camp. I dislocated my shoulder the second day of training camp, and every day he sat on the steps, walking down to the practice field, and I dislocated my shoulder the second day, so I was in a sling, and I would walk down the stairs, and he would just yell at me the whole time. And like, you're not making the team, you're already hurt. And then I would be on the practice field, and he would come up there next to my receiver coach, the late great Milt Jackson. And he would say, "Hey, this rookie's already hurt. There's no chance he makes a football team." And I'm a 4th-round pick. I know nothing about the NFL, and I'm from southwestern Louisiana. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, I want to go back home. I just want to crawfish for the rest of my life. Screw the NFL. I'm just going to do crawfishing and be a rice farmer with my grandfather. I'm not messing with this NFL stuff. This isn't much fun at all. And so that was my welcome to the NFL moment, was Tony Saragusa making me fear for my life every single day. And then those guys would shoot paintball guns at the hotel. When you walked from the main room to the other room, you had to walk outside, and they'd be out there shooting paintball guns. And I'm like, this is I'm from South Louisiana. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. So feared for my life for about a month. I tried to avoid anyone that was a veteran guy. Put my head down. I don't know if I ate dinner. I just would not go in the cafeteria. I went in the cafeteria one time, and they made me sing a song, and I sang "We Are the World." I told them how much my signing bonus was. They make you tell you where you're from, when you were drafted, what your signing bonus was. And they all laughed at me when I told them what my signing bonus was, because I got screwed on my signing bonus. So, yeah, that was my welcome to the NFL moment right there. Is that good for you? Do you like that?
I do.
I will tell you this, though. Tony said after you made the football team, he couldn't have been a better guy. And we were friends after that, and he was a great guy, and he couldn't have been better. But, man, he made it tough. I mean, that was like you had to earn your stripes back then, and he made you earn them. So, but those were fun times.
Yeah, I mean, that does the trick for what I was looking for. The paintball gun, though, timeout. I want to like emphasize on that for like 2 seconds. So these like the veteran guys were like, oh, you know what? We're gonna get this rook going across here. It's like in the crossfires. Is that kind of what I'm envisioning right there?
Yes. Yeah. They would sit there in the parking lot, and then, they would pick off rookies, pick off, veterans that they just wanted to hit, whoever it was. And then Brian Billick finally had to say, hey, guys, no more paint. Like, you're going to shoot someone's eye out here, something like, what are we doing here? But that was the craziness of when I was a rookie in 1999. But that's what those guys did. I mean, it was crazy. So, yes, exactly what you can think of. Guys in the parking lot sitting there with paintball guns, shooting guys, walking across, an open area, going from one building to the next building. Yeah. Welcome to the NFL, rookie.
Welcome to the NFL. Some would say that builds character. And some would say
That's
then,
right. That's
if,
right.
if we go back, some would say, that's probably why you played 15 years, right? Or is that how many years you got? 15 in the league?
You got it right. Yes, 15.
Man.
I started with the Ravens in 99, played 4 years there. Got hurt 50 times. And of course, they didn't want to re-sign me. I don't blame them. But I got to finish my career there in 2013, which was awesome. Got hurt again, of course. But 15 years, man. But you're right. It builds character. You got to grow up. You got to be a man. You got to be a pro. And those guys were great. So I learned a lot. And I tell you what, especially my first 4 years in Baltimore, we won the Super Bowl my second year there in 2000. But it was unbelievable. The people there, the fans there, teammates, ownership, Art Modell, and then Steve Bisciotti. They couldn't have been better. It was so much fun. I had, the time of my life.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool to see your career evolve. I remember I was young at the time. I still, by the way, as I get older, I'm 32. 32 is still young. I want to point that out.
32?
But I just wanted to say it. Yeah.
That's very young.
How old do you think I was? Is it the beard?
The beard? No, it's a damn receding. It's a receding hairline. I thought you were like 49.
Damn, Brandon. I thought we were having a good moment here. And then you had to go to the jeans. Have you seen the Ripken hairline? Is that what it was going for? You just saw my damn forehead.
I mean, how could you not see it? It takes up half the screen.
Ollie, get me a hat. Bring it on over.
Yes.
Damn. Damn. Now I'm just, yeah, it's okay. You know what?
The beard looks great. I'm telling you, hey, the beard looks great. Just the hairline. Put a hat on. You can't see the hairline. I wouldn't even know it. Then I might think you're 32 and not 52.
Hey, you know what? I'll send you, one of these. I'm just going to send you a photo now of how, maybe it was my wedding day. The hair looked good on my wedding day. I got married a few months ago. I'll send you that. And you'll probably still say to me, oh, hey, looks better, but damn that hairline. But there's been better days. Oh, sugar. All right. You know what? We're gonna move past that because let's reminisce a little bit. Talked about being with the Ravens. We actually got the clip here, and I'm sure you've watched this a million times. But I'm gonna pull this up real quickly.
Let's go.
You remember this moment?
I do.
So
in the slot, it was called double pump. It was called double pump. So the outside guys run comebacks, 18 to 15-yard comebacks. Inside guys run seam routes. If it's a single high safety, you stay up the seam. If it's, a split safety, cover two, or quarters, you kind of bend it in a little bit. And they were doubling. They're supposed to be doubling the two inside guys. And I was prepared for this. This was one play I was prepared for during the week with Milt Jackson, my receiver coach, who I mentioned earlier, and they were supposed to double me. They didn't really want to double me. They didn't really care about. They were doubling Shannon Sharp and me. But it turned out that, one of the guys screwed up the coverage. And then, so they kind of had three guys on Shannon Sharp. Appreciate you, Shannon Sharp. And I was the beneficiary of that. So I knew I just had to, that was the plan. Beat one guy. If they try to double you, just beat one guy. And so I knew I just had to beat Seahorn on the route. So I wanted to give him a little outside stutter, like I was running a 5 or 6 yard out route, and then just go up the seam. And you got to give a lot of credit to Trent Dilfer. No one wants to give that guy any credit, but he did a great job of looking left to Shannon Sharp, and he made a perfect pass to a slow white guy. And then I was able to carry Seahorn into the end zone. And I thought I made the white cornerback extinct. That was it. No more white cornerbacks after that. Now, all of a sudden, the last couple of years, we see Cooper Dijon, Riley Moss, all of a sudden out of Iowa. I don't know if it's like Jurassic Park, but these guys are these white cornerbacks now are starting to appear out of nowhere. So they have reemerged from the depths of Super Bowl 35. But that was a fun play. It was a great throw by Dilfer, and I was coached up really well. And, I just did my thing and got fortunate enough to, next thing you know, I was in the end zone. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was my second year in the NFL. I couldn't imagine playing in a Super Bowl, let alone scoring a touchdown. And, I was inactive for the first like 9, 10, 11 games because I wasn't very good. And so I was just in sweatpants the whole time. And then next thing you know, Travis Taylor broke his collarbone. I got an opportunity. And, then I was playing in a Super Bowl. So very fortunate.
Yeah, what you're saying is, you're built for power, not speed. But you were right. The extinction of the white cornerback, that was a moment there where we could go back and look at this. That was a moment. And also, though, I got to say, like the ball security here, timeout. Look at this. 2 hands on this thing. Hey, what was I got to know then?
Can we get that now in Baltimore?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Well, yes. We need some ball security in Baltimore. But hey, you explain the play. Explain what was going through your mind when you caught this right here. Like, what is?
Well, I mean, are we on? Like I don't know what I can say, but I was like, "Holy crap!" Like he actually threw me the ball.
If you want,
yeah, I did. I don't. Yeah, but I was like, he actually threw me the ball, and now I caught it perfect. That's great, and never thought about scoring a touchdown. But you just see the ball going through the air, and it's just like. It's one of those surreal moments where you're just like, all right, make sure you catch the football. And then after that, hey, I'm a slow white wide receiver. You have to take care of the football or I will be back in South Louisiana, doing crawfish and being a rice farmer with my grandfather, right? So it's like, I got to take care of the football right here. Even if I don't care about scoring a touchdown, get down to the 2-yard line. Jamal Lewis will run it in. That's fine. Touchdown for me. I really don't care about that. Just don't screw it up. And then next thing you know, I look up and I'm like, I'm in the damn end zone. And I'm like, I'm in the end zone. Here we go. Let's go. I mean, it was crazy.
That was
Brandon, Brandon,
ahead,
real fast. Obviously, you were with how dominant that defense was in 2000 and that entire year. Was there a moment when you got to the sideline and you're up 7-0 and you know how this defense is playing where you're kind of like, holy crap, I think we just won the Super Bowl? Or what score did it kind of set in where you're like, I don't think that they're getting this many points against that defense?
Never. I mean, I never felt good about it. I think maybe in Jermaine Lewis, when he returned it after they returned their one for a touchdown, maybe I felt better about it, but like, it's a Super Bowl. It's my second year. There's I got high anxiety. I wasn't on any kind of medication back then for my anxiety and my ADHD. So I was like, I'm always anxious. I'm like, oh, we got to score more because the word, and what the veterans were telling you, before that game was like, hey, this might be it. They mentioned Dan Marino. He got to the Super Bowl his second year. And obviously Dan Marino is one of the best ever. And he lost it, never got back again. So you might only have one opportunity at this. You better take advantage of it. Do everything you can to win this football game. And so for me, I was always very anxious about that situation. You always just like, hey, let's keep going until the last couple minutes of the football game. Other than that, you're always nervous. Crazy things can happen in football and the NFL. And, look at 2012 when I was playing for the Broncos, right? You felt like, we had the game won, and next thing you know, Flacco throws it up and, there's Jacoby right there for the touchdown, and we're playing in overtime. So, crazy things happen. So you never feel comfortable in the NFL.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up next. I mean, as much as you had a great moment with the Ravens, hey, you started this warfare with this thing, okay? So, but I, as many people did, they watched that game. They saw the Mile High Miracle. And yeah, you were on one moment of greatness in 2001 at that time, but 2000 season. And then 2012, where I felt like on TV, it sounded like you could hear a pin drop after that ball was just up there. And it felt like that ball was up there. And I guess that's the MO for Joe Flacco anyway. Like that thing it's like mesmerizing watching that thing. But it's like, it could be a pick. I thought it was going to be a pick, honestly, when it first left his hand. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Jacoby caught that. Sorry about that. But
Yeah, I mean, it's it was, in that moment, you're sitting there on the sideline, and we had such a good team that year in Denver. It's Peyton Manning's first year with the Broncos, and it was like we had such a good team. Offense was great, defense was great, and then we played the Ravens earlier in the year in Baltimore, and we waxed them. They weren't very good. We waxed them. We did whatever we want to them, and then they fired their offensive coordinator, had a new offensive coordinator, and they were playing better. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen. That's the NFL. Anything can happen. But at the time, you still felt pretty good about your situation when you look at where Baltimore was on the football field, how our defense was playing, and just don't give up a big play. But hey, that's sports. That's what makes it so great. And look, football is not baseball. It's not basketball. It's not hockey. It's not a 7-game series. One game. Right? You let your guard down for 1 second. Next thing you know, you look up and there it is, touchdown. You lose a football game. If we play the Ravens 7 times, we beat them 6 times. If we play them 10, we beat them 9. But that's not how it works, and that's the great thing about football. So, and I love Baltimore. I love the Ravens. I love that organization. So I was so happy that they were able to go on after that. And they beat New England in New England, and then they won the Super Bowl. So that made me feel better. Like, it still hurts. Because that team was a great team. It still hurts because I felt like we had a great chance to win a Super Bowl that year. We had home field and we were playing really good football. But at least the Ravens were able to finish it off and win the Super Bowl. And I love the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, your guys' team, you were a wagon. That offense, that defense, that was the game. I thought I actually felt the Ravens were going to match up well against New England. It's always seemed during that time that the games would come down to the wire. The year prior to that was the missed field goal by Billy Cundiff, and the play prior to that was the Lee Evans having the ball, good knockout by the Pats defender, and then the Ravens go from you're Super Bowl bound to you're going home in the blink of an eye. And I know that's what you were alluding to. The NFL, professional sports, but specifically the NFL, anything can go when a team's hot, and one play can really change everything, and it did. Since you mentioned Peyton Manning, we'll have a couple questions to get you out of here. Zach, we talked about this, right? You spent time with Peyton in 2 different places. Indy, where you had your best year statistically, you lit it up, and then out there in Denver. What's something that whether it's a story with Peyton or a moment there that people don't know, like how good he was, or maybe something that people just they don't get to see from the Mannings on the Manning cast or from the highlights. Can you describe maybe one of those moments you've had?
Well, I think everything that you see from him, is who he's been and who he is. He's a funny guy, and he was like that in the locker room. But when it's time to work, it's time to work. I mean, we worked as hard as I've ever, worked in my life when I was in Indy for 4 years, and then with the Broncos. And then so you go out there, you play football, and it's like, okay, this is easy because of the amount of time and effort that you put in preparing. So he prepared like nobody else, right? He was so prepared. And so you look around and you watch what he does every single day. How can you not, raise your game up? And so that's what he brought when he came to the Broncos in 2012. And that's what, I wasn't used to that, obviously, that type of, guy, quarterback in Baltimore, because we switched, it seemed like every single year. But I got to Indy, I'm like, oh, wow, the attention to detail, right? Every little thing matters. If he tells you he wants you at 12 coming back at this angle, this is what it's got to be, right? And so all that matters. All that's the difference between being, winning these games late and losing these games late. So, but he was a fun guy. He was tough, though. It didn't matter if you're his best friend. I thought I was his best friend, a couple times, and then, sit next to him on the plane. The next thing you know, he benched me during a game, because he said I messed up, and I didn't even mess up. So, it's like one of those things. But the standard was a standard, and that's what you had to meet every single day, and that's why he was so great at what he did when he played. And look at what he does now. Why do you think he's successful now? Because he still has that drive and that passion for what he's doing now. It's just not football, it's something else. But he's one of a kind. He's a great guy. He's a great friend. And he does so much for so many people that, that doesn't get, publicized or in the press. I mean, he does so many. He's just a great friend and a great person.
I've heard all the best, and I met him when I was younger, and my family and my dad, he feels the same way about Peyton and the Mannings. I do want to just point something out. So you're saying Peyton Manning benched you?
Yeah. So he denies it.
Okay, so what was that in Indy?
Yeah, it was in Indy. He still denies it to this day. I thought I was gonna have I was gonna break the all-time white wide receiver record for receptions in a game. We're playing in Houston, and I was catching these 4 or 5 yard passes, and I was just dominating. I had like 5 or 6 catches early. I'm like, holy cow! I'm going for about 15 today. Sorry, Wayne Corbett. I'm about to, overtake you, buddy. And next thing you know, we got this drive going, and he's doing all this motion. He always all motion and stuff, right? He's doing all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm outside of, I think it was Marvin Harrison or Reggie Wayne. I was supposed to motion down to the hip of the guy, and then he hikes it. We switch release. I go down the seam, and the other receiver goes out the outside, right? So it's pretty simple or whatever, not that big a deal. So he usually he'll either like signal you like this to motion or just pick his leg up or something like that. So he did something to motion me, right? And so, yeah, I motioned down, and then all of a sudden he starts going through this progression of like changing the linebacker and all this stuff, offensive line stuff. I have no idea what he's doing. I really don't care, right? So I'm just kind of sitting there next to the wide receiver, no big deal at all, right? And then so he hikes the ball. I beeline down the middle of the field. I'm wide open. I'm like, this is great. Stokes going to get a touchdown. This is awesome. I'm wide open, man. He's definitely going to see me, right? So I'm like looking up for the ball. I'm like, where the hell's the ball? I look back, and Peyton is scrambling out of the pocket, and he's so slow, and he's just like lumbering around, right? And he just kind of throws the ball out of bounds. I'm like, damn, that kind of sucked, right? I don't know what he screwed up or who didn't block somebody on the offensive line, right? Somebody screwed up. And so we go back to the sideline, and he's pissed off at me. He's pissed at me. I'm like, wait, what did I do? He's like, why'd you motion so early? I'm like, what does it matter? It didn't matter at all. You screwed up the protection. You're the one that screwed it up. They fooled you, right? So why are you mad at me? So next thing you know, I'm not going in next series. I'm like, wait, what the hell's going on here? Like, I'm balling right now. I should have had a touchdown. I should be close to 100 yards. I'm about to go for the all-time white wide receiver record for a single game in receptions, and this guy's pulling me out of the game. So, yeah, long story long here. I got pulled for about 3 or 4 series, and then the guy that replaced me, who's a wide receiver coach right now in Cincinnati for the Bengals, Troy Walters, he screwed something up. So Peyton was pissed off at him, got him benched. I got back in the game. And then so on the plane ride home, I was so pissed. I'm like, I'm not talking to this guy. I'm not talking to him. Of course, I talked to him like, hey, what the hell was that? Why'd you get me benched? He said, what are you talking about? I didn't get you benched. I'm like, yeah, you did. You got me. He's like, I didn't get you benched. He still denies it to this day. Go back and look it up. I think it was 2004. Go back and look it up. Yeah. It's there. Maybe 2005. Maybe 2003, 4, or 5. One of those 3 years. Go in Houston. Go look that up.
So it was, if I'm not mistaken, you in 2004, that was your best statistical year. You had 68 catches, 1,000 receiving yards, and 10 tutties. You were balling.
Yes.
You think does that sound about right for that year?
It was either it might have been 2000. It was 2003, 4, or 5. So it was one of those years. I don't know if he would have got me benched that year because I was playing too good. So it might have been another year, but it was one of those years in Houston, and that's what's happened. That's what happened, and that's a fact. So he can deny it all he wants, but hey, he needs to own it. He needs to apologize to me.
You know what? I would tune into the Manning cast just for that moment right there. Just for that, just to say, you know what? For an apology, I think everyone would.
Look, I've been on the Manning cast 2 times. Have you seen me on the Manning cast? No. You want to know why? Because I've been a prop. He brings me out there to be a prop. So I'm just a prop. This year, I was the water boy. We were doing like a water drill, right? Because it was supposed to rain. It was supposed to rain. Jacksonville was playing somebody. It's supposed to rain. Guess what? It didn't even rain. And so we're out there, pretending like it was going to rain. It didn't rain. So I was the water boy. And it was terrible because it wasn't even raining out there. The other time I was a receiver, and 2 years ago. So I'm like, can I ever just be like, I played for like 5 teams, I mean, I played with him for a couple of years. Like at some point you think, how many years does he have to do this Manning cast? I mean, how many times can he ask, Charles Barkley and The Rock and all these guys to be on his show? How about your good friend Stokley? I mean, it's like Patrick Mahomes and, all these guys, Ray Lewis. I mean, my Mondays are totally free. I try to tell him that, he just doesn't listen.
Yeah, we're gonna work on this because this is, you know what? Why would they want anybody else? I would tune in if you're ever on and I get a text. I want a text from you next time going,
all right, I'm
the main event. I will clear my schedule and I am going to be just glued to that damn TV because I'm going to get the popcorn out. I'm a tequila guy. I'm going to get some, or a mezcal, but get some mezcal, and I'm just going to put my feet up and I'm going to enjoy that. I cannot wait.
Well, what year is it? What year is it right now?
2025.
Right. So about 2030, I'll probably be texting you that, hey, I might be making, if this person can't do it, Stokley, can you fill in? Right. I got a lot of those. So if this person can't do it, Stokley, can you be, I was always the backup. I'm always the second guy. So I'll let you know, probably so 4 or 5 years. So keep that tequila cold.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
I can't wait to see your hair. I can't wait to see your hair in 5 years too, by the way. Can't wait to see that hairline, what that looks like in 5 years.
You know what?
This is the best interview we've ever had.
Too soon? Too soon?
No, hey, you know what? I look at baby photos. My dad was becoming the silver fox and the hair was not back. I got hair back here. I just, the Nutrafol just ain't kicking in.
They got companies now. You can like fly to Turkey. You see all these people fly to Turkey, get your stuff done. I mean, you look great. Go to Turkey. Everyone flying back. You can see those pictures. They all have the stuff on their head. It's going to fix you up nice.
Oh, sugar. You know what? That will be some good content. I've actually been asked about that before. This might send me over the top here, Brandon, but you know what? Shit, hey, you're welcome back here whenever you want. I'll say that. The Manning cast, they don't want you. You can come back here whenever you want. That's all I got for you. You just put me through the cycle right there. Damn. And Zach's enjoying every damn minute of it.
I know. I'm just over here. I think I found it. Week 16, 2003, you had 9 catches on 12 targets for 67 yards and a touchdown.
That might be the game. I got to go back and look. I'll text y'all. I got to go back and look to make sure that's a year. But it was, yes, that might be the year. I just thought, it was going to be like a 15, 16 catch type of game. Next thing you know, I was out for 2 quarters. And so, it was, but that's how he rolled. Like he was wired that way. Like, hey, there's a standard here, guys. And he doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are. What's going on. There's a standard. Even when he was wrong, other people still paid the price, and I paid the price that game. But it's all good. There was rewards at the end of it. Certainly, playing with him for 5 years made me who I was, and being with him in Indy for 4 years taught me, how to be a pro, how to be disciplined, pay attention to details. So everywhere I went after that, came to Denver. Went to Seattle, the Giants, and then back with the Ravens. All those teams and coaches appreciated that because there was a standard there, and I learned that from him.
That's it's really cool. I love the ins and outs of it. I think that brings the stories even out there more. And yeah, you know what? By the way, with you ripping my hairline, I got a turkey fund now. So Tom, thanks, man.
There we go.
20 bucks going to turkey. We're going to
beginning, and so it began. So it began.
Look what you started, Brandon. Hey, you know what? All right. Whenever, I hope I get a chance to talk to you in person. You're welcome on here anytime. I appreciate your time. This was a blast. And yeah, congratulations on 25 years. Hey, you know what?
Appreciate it.
25 years. How old are you now, Brandon?
Oh, damn, I'm 49, going to be 50 in June. So, yeah, man, it goes quick. And so it's going to be good to get back. I hadn't been back there. You know, I played there in 2013, but I hadn't been back, forever. So, these times go quick. You don't see guys for a long time. Guys get old. We all get old. And so it's going to be great. I can't wait to see the Ravens fans playing Pittsburgh. Going to be so much fun. Big game, by the way, right? Huge game.
Yeah.
So take care of business. Make the Steelers 6-7. Take over first place. Put them way behind you and go get in the playoffs. And you never know what can happen in the playoffs. As, I learned firsthand in 2013. So there you go. 2012, excuse me. There you go.
There you go. Just get in and see what happens. Well, Brandon, safe travels. I'll have to miss you. We got to go to the winter meetings, but next time you're in Baltimore, I
winter meetings for what? Baseball? Y'all talking about baseball over there? You talking about baseball? Orioles baseball? I mean, damn, and we got the Rockies over here. We don't talk baseball. I mean, it's Ravens season right now. They're going to winter meetings. What are the Orioles doing right now for you to go to the winter meet? Where are the winter meetings at? You trying to get warm? Trying to get us tan? You're already tan.
Much warmer.
Hey, what are you doing?
We're going to Orlando. Disney. You're going to Disney. Yeah.
I don't blame you then. I don't blame you. That's smart.
Yeah, I gotta go shake some hands and kiss some babies. Okay.
Right.
And we're trying to grow here. So and you know
well,
what?
Let's get it going. I mean, had a good run there. I mean, but not good this past year, right?
Yeah, I got to talk to corporate about that. I'll talk to ownership about that. We'll get.
How do we feel about new ownership, real quick? Also, how do we feel about new ownership?
Well, I guess I'm impartial because one of my family members is technically a part of it, but he's the problem. Oh,
damn. Well, I'm sorry. Well, shoot, that I didn't even know that. So, hey, I love the Orioles. Let's go Orioles. I'm so proud of them. So proud of them.
Well, no, it's okay. I blame him for everything.
It's a new era. I love the new ownership group. New ownership group's great. Love them. Love them. Best ever. Best ever. Big things ahead. Big things ahead in Baltimore. Winter meetings. Go get some sun. Enjoy it. And tell your ownership uncle, is it your dad?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
If he answers my call, it's dad. When he doesn't, he's just a jackass. So
Oh my God. Well, I just stepped in it. All right. Well, hey. So you love the new ownership group then?
Now,
this is
I like
funny.
The rest of them. I told
funny.
you. He needs to answer my calls for me to love him a little bit more. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey, have fun in Orlando, and I can't wait to see the Orioles this next few years. I got to root
whenever you want to come. Yeah, whenever you come to Baltimore, we got a spot for you. All right.
You got a ticket for me?
We got a ticket.
All right.
We got a ticket. We know some
I love
people.
it.
All right, Brandon.
I love it.
See you.
Hey, appreciate you guys.
Stokley, everybody.
That was our best interview, and that was incredible.
We've had cheers. Cheers, Brandon. Hey, you know what? That was a lot of damn fun. We've had a lot of great guests on here so far. That was up there. That was a hell of a lot of fun. New channel, hit that like and subscribe button. This is the part that this, Zach. My goal here with our viewers, and when we talk about it, is you want to really go behind the curtain, because you look at the players, and a lot of people go, "Oh man, what a moment for Brandon Stokley." Hey, it was a hell of a moment in the Super Bowl, but the person is the part that I want people to see, like the stories, the behind the scenes, and that's what makes these moments. And Brandon would have said it on the interview. When you're in it, it's the moments with the guys that you really remember and you talk about, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's something that I miss. I tell you, Zach, all the time. I miss those moments with the guys on the squad right now. Like, that Kyle Bradish, Dean Kramer, Cedric Mullins, new Tampa Bay Ray. I don't look at them for what they're doing on the field all the time, which, I want them to do well. It's those conversations in the locker room, those practice moments, well, you know what? We'll save that for Rip After Dark
moments,
Oh, sugar. Yeah, that will get me in trouble. But yeah, we appreciate it. And Brandon, you're welcome back whenever, man. You're welcome back whenever. All right.
Awesome.
job.
I can't. What are you saying?
A lot of fun.
I appreciate you, Brandon.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Y'all take care. All right, guys. Be good.
See ya.
Oh, I love it.
What a guy. What a guy. Well, the turkey fund is electric. Zach, you know what? I'm a good sport. That's a clip.
That whole interview had so many clips. I also do love that he stayed in the back.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, that's the part of this whole thing, right? Is when you see people out there and you're watching it, they're human beings at the end of the day. And that's the really cool thing is you get to see the other side. And like of all this, Brandon Stokley had a hell of a career, but people had no idea that Brandon Stokley had that many jokes. I didn't, man. I just got burned.
He can, and just so many throughout his career. I mean, him reminiscing on getting, controversially, I guess, he said, she said on getting benched by Peyton, mid-game, depends on who you ask. But that was awesome because of how he just views it and, his stories and being like, yeah, this happened. I thought I was going for 15 catches, 20 catches, 200 yards. The next thing I know, it's like, I messed up. That was absolutely incredible. That was an all-time interview. I'll tell you that. That was an all-time interview.
Now, if you guys liked it, hit that like and subscribe button. Also spread the good word. I mean, this is what we like to do. We want to give you guys the information. We're going to talk about the hot topics, but above all, we want to take you behind the curtain. We want to show you what players are like and relive moments. And for Brandon Stokley, he will forever be in connection with this Ravens organization and this city because of his run winning the Super Bowl. That team keeps you together. And above all, he had that iconic moment in Baltimore Ravens history that every Ravens fan, you have seen that touchdown catch. So that was really, really great to see. So I'm excited. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If something goes wrong with our StreamYard, we apologize. Our next guest may or may not have problems getting on. And that's Jim Nantz. So we're going to have Jim Nantz on here joining us momentarily. Will not be as long as Brandon, which Zach, I thought we were going to have him for like 15 minutes.
I did, but the stories kept coming. That was incredible. Also, the ending of him, like, the ending of, what are your guys' thoughts on Orioles ownership?
It's good times, man. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun there. And this is what we have in store here in 2026. I'll tell you that. We have a lot of great guests lined up. And shout out Ryan Shell, by the way. Really great job with bringing people on. And at the end of the day, why sports are incredible, Zach, why people love the moments is because it brings people together, right? It's the sports itself can tell a story, and to see the people along that ride and the journey, that brings that nostalgic feeling and makes you feel connected to those both on and off the field. And so it's really cool to see that come full circle. And with our next guest, if he's good to go, Jim, just let me know when you're ready to rock. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go. When we talk about telling a story, well, he probably does it as best as anybody else that I can ever imagine. And there's a lot of great ones out there, but he knows what I'm talking about. You are watching a story unfold each and every time you are watching baseball, football, basketball, any sporting event. He's the voice you hear all the time. And if you're watching the Ravens and Steelers this Sunday, you'll hear him on the call. Let's bring on Jim Nantz.
Well, hello, friends. How are you?
We are doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Man, you got me so stoked just listening to your whole impassioned speech about sports and where it falls in the American culture, man. It was some good stuff right there. It was biblical. I loved it.
We just had Brandon Stokley on, caught the touchdown in Super Bowl 35. And he also told us that Peyton Manning, according to him, was the reason he got benched back in 2003. Zach, is that what we were saying?
Yeah, we think week 16, 2003.
Week 6, but Peyton won't admit to it. But the part of it all, right? It's the stories. You tell the story as good as anybody on air.
You're too kind.
We'll get to that, but I want to start off with this. Come from a baseball family. When you play in the professional ranks, people have a bunch of minor league stories. It's kind of like, hey, welcome to the world of professional sports. You've had so many experiences over the year, but do you have a Jim Nantz story that takes us back to maybe where your journey began that still sticks with you till this day?
Oh, those days never leave you. First off, Ryan, Zach, it's great to be on with you guys. So I'm so fired up about coming up to Baltimore this weekend. I know both of these teams aren't playing great, but there's still time for these two coaches to figure it out, and maybe not only, of course, one of them is going to win the division, unless there's something really bizarre with Cincinnati. But the roots of it all never leave you. To your point, the minor league days, if you will. Those days for me started when I was in college at the University of Houston. I was a tag along to the University of Houston basketball program, which is really sizzling right now under Kelvin Sampson. But back in my days, it was a time called Phi Slamma Jamma. And I was the student public address announcer. I hosted the coaches show. It was really my gateway into the business was through the Houston basketball program. So I remain very tethered to that team and that program, loving those days. But when I graduated college, I had already compiled a lot of experience, vast experiences, from anchoring on the CBS affiliate in the fourth largest market to calling high school football games, doing all sorts of things. And lo and behold, I got this opportunity to go out to Utah to audition at the CBS affiliate there, KSL. And I ended up winning the audition. And with it, not only was there anchoring, but it was there was game action. So when I was 23 and just a little bit removed from college, I was calling the Utah Jazz games in the NBA. So I was in the NBA way ahead of my time, and that was valuable. And I was calling BYU football and basketball games on television. So I was amassing some practical experience that would serve me well later on. The dream for me always, I have to tell you, Ryan, the dream was always to work specifically for CBS. I mean, I since I was 11 years old, all I ever talked about was I wanted to work for CBS. I liked the way they presented the NFL, and I loved the way they presented the Masters, and I want to be a part of that. So I obsessed about it all through my teen years, all through my college years. And lo and behold, I get hired by the CBS TV affiliate in Houston, CBS affiliate in Salt Lake City. And after 2 years there, just again, not that far removed from college, I got a call out of the blue to come to New York and audition against 4 other prospects, and I won the audition. Fortunately for me, that was 1985, before you boys were even a thought in your parents' minds. But I've loved every minute of it, man.
I love hearing that this is a goal that you had set out, that when you are younger, sometimes you think that your dreams can be too big or they can be unrealistic or you don't know how to get there. Now, when I grew up, I wanted to be a professional baseball player. That's all I knew. That was my dad's job, and I wanted to have the job that my dad had. And you get a little older, and I'm sure you realized along your journey and process, you're like, it's pretty damn hard to get to that goal. And you might not get there, but you have to give yourself the opportunity. And I felt that way with my career. It didn't work out the way that I had hoped playing now in the media space. But for you, I think that it's really great to see that even though you are one of the most humble people I've heard out there, and even how you described your journey, you worked and grinded your way to where you had, and it was the dedication. And I think that is one of the coolest experiences. And I think that's why so many people relate to you in this whole sporting world. And they feel so comfortable, as you would say, as they were being welcomed into the homes each Sunday or whatever it may be. It's because you can relate a lot to the audience. With that being said, on the football side, Jim,
Yeah.
this is a strange year. And you've explained, you've been around and you've seen, it felt like almost everything. Could you put your finger on maybe this NFL season where the likes of the Chiefs and the Bills have had their struggles, the Ravens led by Harbaugh and Tomlin, Lamar Jackson, some of these favorites, both in the AFC and NFC, might not be in the picture, but it's been an exciting season nonetheless. Is there anything that reminds you over the years of what we're kind of seeing right now, that there truly is no favorite, in my opinion, throughout the entire National Football League?
I've never seen anything like it. First off, I've never truly, and I've been calling NFL games since the late 80s, over 500 now. That is so upside down, and that's not to disparage the people that are on top. And I don't know what to chalk it up to. Some of it's injuries. I mean, I really don't think that in your case there in Baltimore with the Ravens, the health issue is so massive, so significant. That explains that. Kansas City's a different story. I mean, Mahomes has been upright the whole year. Travis hasn't missed any games. Rice joined them late because of the suspension, but by and large, they've been able to get through it without significant injuries. I've just done 4 games in a row with the Chiefs. That's kind of, every other week I'm with them, it feels like, on average. Yeah. I can't explain it. But it's almost like, though, it has triggered all these other reactions. Like, hey, if they can beat the Chiefs, well, then we can beat this team, because these are upstarts. I mean, New England rattling off this win streak and sitting on top of that division, I didn't see it coming. I mean, I love Mike Vrabel, and I think Drake May is going to be terrific. Same thing with Denver. And I've seen both of these teams now because we're primarily the AFC network. But it feels like they're feeding off one another, and the whole pyramid is kind of just flipped. Now, here's the question. You're kind of at the point where now it's so serious, and there's a little margin for error. Kansas City probably has to win out, and I think they could do it. I don't know, though, that they have it in their belly this year to do it. Maybe they will. Mm-hmm. It's a mystery. It's such an enigma to me. They look like they have all the parts. They've got a great set of receivers. The running back situation is what it is, kind of the same it's been. Kareem Hunt, Pacheco's back. I don't get it. But we're going to get into the playoffs. And I said this last week. I had Pittsburgh, Buffalo coming after the Dallas Thanksgiving Day game. One of these teams that's solid, that's been there, take your Ravens. Take Buffalo. You're going to get into these January playoff games, and they're going to be, well, if the Ravens win the division, they're going to get a home game, obviously. But I think they're going to be a difficult out because they've been tested. Their coaches and their staff have been tested. Take whatever. I'll take Buffalo as an example. I'll take the onus off of John Harbaugh right now, who I love. You take them. Take Buffalo. No Ed Oliver. They got parts that are missing that almost make it really hard for them to be who they were last year or the year before that. However, they might just get this just right with Kansas City in the rearview mirror on them, and maybe not even in the playoffs, where they've got to say to themselves, hey, we got to go on the road now as a wild card team. They're not out of the division yet. We got to go on the road now, and we got to go play New England again on the road, or at Denver, wherever, or at the AFC South champion. No, we can handle this. They've got to be thinking that. So I think the playoffs going to be really bizarre. I don't know that's going to go according to seed. And I think one of these teams, and it could be the Ravens, you get Lamar healthy and get this team on a little bit of a roll, they're going to be a tough out. And these young upstarts that are, with rosters that haven't gotten the experience of being in the postseason, it's going to be a big assignment for them.
It's interesting to see, and I'm glad that I'm not the only one that's thinking this just seems unfamiliar. So I appreciate you making me not feel like I'm completely crazy. I might be crazier in different ways, Jim, but at least not in this case.
Yeah, you're okay.
So thank you for keeping my sanity. Before I let you get out of here, 25 years since the Ravens won their first Super Bowl. 30 years they've been an organization here in Baltimore. You've seen a lot of games. Are there any moments for you, and I have an idea of at least one, but that maybe you remember over the years when it comes to this Baltimore Ravens team?
Man, there's a million because, I called the game down in New Orleans, the Blackout Bowl, the Harbaugh Bowl. I've called those AFC Championship games. I was down at Tampa as the studio host of the NFL Today when they won the title down there, Super Bowl 35, I guess it was. But I think maybe there's two things that I hope I have enough time. I'm going to try to condense this story. Both have to do with trophy presentations, not about calling the games. And I've called dozens upon dozens of Ravens games. I've always loved working with that organization. One was when they won the AFC title up at Gillette Stadium. We did the trophy presentation in the locker room. And O.J. Brigance was the one who presented the trophy to his teammates. And you can't imagine the complications that you went through, not me, but everybody involved, to get OJ to do that. OJ, I love OJ. He's a dear friend of mine. I love him. I cannot wait to see him on Sunday. And Chandra, too. His amazing wife. He's a hero to me. But we were in this locker room, and it's bedlam. They're just beating the mighty Patriots in their building. Suddenly you have to get an entire locker room to be completely silent, pin drop silent. And, I'm up on the riser with John and Steve Bisciotti and Dick's up there too, the Cass, and of course OJ. OJ's already loaded into his computer, which will speak for him in Morgan Freeman's voice. And I had to, once everybody got the room kind of under control, I was hearing 20 seconds to James Brown's going to throw it to you. And I gave this team, victorious, raucous, euphoric, a 10-second, here's what we're about to do. And we've got to be able to hear what OJ has presented and wants to communicate to you guys. So stand by, and there's a stage manager, and go. And I try to explain to an audience this was going to be a unique trophy presentation. And I put the microphone, I thought I had one here on my desk, but I put the microphone right there outside the computer audio output. I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. That was special to me. It's really, truly one of the highlights of my career, to be able to share that moment, try to lead the Ravens through that moment. And the other one, Ryan, Zach, was giving the trophy away in New Orleans. Okay. And when I'm standing there on the platform, I'm looking down and I see OJ on the field. And I'm there with the commissioner and everything. And now there's one rule, as you know, never give the microphone up, right? Because he who holds the microphone controls the network. So I'm holding the CBS 150 million people watching at this time with the mic flag, and I bring in Ray Lewis. I bring in Ray. And I get his comments. Ray immediately takes my hand and just grabs the microphone, or tries to grab the microphone away from me, and I'm holding on for dear life. If you ever go back and look at that sequence, you will see me pulling. I am arm wrestling the great Ray Lewis on national television, and I played him to a standstill. He did not do that. He did not rip it out of my hands. With all my might, I was able to somehow hold on and be there for that moment. No, there have been many. It was funny when you said that. I don't know. You got 10 seconds for another one?
Yeah. Hey, I just want to be respectful of your time, Jim. You can stay as long as you need to.
Thank you. I was at M&T Bank Stadium during COVID. And you might remember the Ravens signed Dez Bryant. Remember that? Dez finished his career as a Raven. Well, that was in that bizarre time where you called the games, there were no fans, but you put in crowd noise into your calls to give that feeling that there was excitement. Anyway, it was so quiet inside the stadium, and the Ravens sideline was on our side of the field. And we're in a commercial break. I'm talking to the producer back and forth. All of a sudden, I see Tony's got his headset off. He's talking to someone below. Now, our booth's a little bit lower at M&T Bank Stadium. But I'm telling you, this is what it was like calling games during COVID. He was carrying on a conversation with Dez, who was on the sideline, like his voice was at a level that I am right now. You're calling an NFL game, but during commercial, it's like, Tony, hey, Dez, how you doing? Yeah, when you coming back home after the season? Yeah, I mean, it's not like, hey, Dez, what's going on? I mean, it was that quiet. That was the backdrop. It almost doesn't even seem real now that we lived through that. But I'll never forget being inside that stadium. It is so raucous, so crazy, so amped up. But during COVID, Tony had a conversation, low intensity, audio-wise, discussion with Dez during timeouts. That's how bizarre it was. I don't know why those came to mind, but man, there are many. I love the facility, by the way. I know you guys have been over there before.
Yeah.
I try to talk them into making that a dual purpose place at the facility and building a little short par 3 course. I actually designed it one time for them where you could during the off season, you could actually have a 9-hole course that you could have certain distances. First hole's 52 yards representing Ray. You could have, there are all kinds of numbers you could play with. And it would route it around a little bit on the perimeter into the interior and coming right back. I mean, it looks like a clubhouse anyway. The place is gorgeous. Yeah. Anyway, that was my first golf course design and didn't get off the ground.
So what I'm understanding through these stories is that you're a golf architect and you also are a arm wrestler.
Yes.
To go along with broadcaster.
Only against the best. Yes,
Only-
I am a golf course. I do love golf course architecture. I have a hole in my backyard at my home in California. You may have seen a video or two about that through the years. And I'm currently at a home in Nashville that I built another one in the backyard here. It sounds over the top. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. And someone heard me talk about my love of golf course architecture. So now I'm actually involved in a golf course under construction in Minnesota right now as a golf course design consultant. It's going to be called Tipatonka. And I've loved it. I've made 5 site visits. I'm, getting dirt under the nails and really trying to do my part, working with an incredible architectural team from Australia, OCM. And I know, to stay out of their way by and large, but it's been fun shaping, being involved in shaping something like that. It's a little tiny side hobby for me. So I like it. And I like it because you can tell a story. I'm getting back to what you were talking about before I came on. It's about storytelling. Everything is about storytelling. Your story is about storytelling. And when I said goodbye at the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago, after 30-something years, well, tilt this up. 32 years. That's the glare's got me. That was given to me by Raft and Grant Hill and Tracy Wilson. The last thing I said is that everybody has a story to tell. And it's our job, whether we're broadcasters or just citizens, to find out what other people's stories really are. Because we all have something that drives us. We want people to think this is who we are. We all have a story. Try to find out what makes somebody special, what it is that they're seeking with their story, and be kind. That's how I waltzed off the stage, camera left, and said goodbye to the NCAA tournament.
One of these days, Jim, I would hope down the stretch when you have time, I'd love to hear more of your stories, because what I loved of you saying with the Ravens and everything you just mentioned, it's not about what in people's minds are the most iconic. It's what stood out in moments to you. And that's what makes this all special throughout the years. And I'd love to have that conversation with you a different time when I looked at my dad's streak growing up. he doesn't sometimes look at the actual streak. He'll remember a game that would be, game 1,231 instead of 2,131, So that's the messaging here that I love. And, that's what makes it special. And OJ, by the way, I want to say that great man, great family. And I'm glad that's a moment that sticks with you. And obviously he's been so ingrained in this Baltimore community for years, and he's going to continue to have that for years to come. So Jim, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, I got to miss you for this Sunday. Got to go down to the winter meetings with baseball. We got to cover both. It's, that's my second career getting off the ground, but safe travels here. Hope you enjoy your time, and I look forward to the next time we get to speak.
I really enjoyed it. Congratulations to you guys. I know you're crushing it, and I really love being on the show. You got me, again, super stoked for the weekend. And the next time I have a Ravens home game, and it maybe will be in January in the playoffs. Please come by the booth, okay? Both of you.
Definitely.
All right, guys.
Deal.
That'd be great.
I'm going to count on
it. Jim. Safe travels. Jim Nantz, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Jim Nantz, everybody. This is the storytelling aspect of this, right? And again,
Incredible.
who am I? Going into this, right? You're sitting there going, I know Jim is a great storyteller. I watch it every time I'm on. And then to hear it that way, I go, you know what? It even takes a whole different angle. And I think the beauty of this, Zach, this is why I love the game, why I love sports. Everybody has a different perspective. And here's Jim Nantz, who has seen almost everything and every big moment. I love the fact that he mentioned the blackout, but that wasn't the moment that stuck at his core, which is crazy to think, because a lot of Ravens fans are going to look back to that. His moment was Ray Lewis trying to wrestle him away. And maybe we'll have to ask Ray that question down the stretch here.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, Ryan, I'll go out on a limb here. This past hour of this show, heck, hour and 3 minutes, this pound for pound might be one of our best shows. Just all considered. And I'll be honest, I'll say it had nothing to do with us. We didn't do a thing. It was just the storytelling. And we talk about storytelling. Brandon Stokley epitomized that there. Like him, just the things he remembered, the things that stuck out to him. It's like, hey, welcome to the NFL moments. He's like, yeah, I'm getting hit with paintball guns by the veterans. Tony Saragusa is telling me I'm getting cut after I broke my shoulder. Like, it's those moments. It's Jim Nantz talking about, having that moment with OJ Brigant, and like, yeah, this entire room of people going to the Super Bowl is dead silent because they know how big of a moment this is and how special it is. The stories that we got here, absolutely incredible. This was unbelievable. Better than I could have ever imagined, that for sure.
And here's the beauty of this. We had two guests today, different backgrounds, different careers, different personas. And I'll tell you what, they were both spectacular in so many ways. And this is what we love here at the Ryan Ripken Show. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We will give you the coverage on the day-to-day, but one thing that we continue to grow here and strive to do in 2026 is we want to keep bringing moments like this. So if you like that, let us know in the comments or saying that. And you know what? Won't forget that. An invite from Jim Nantz to the booth.
Yeah.
You know what? I was going to say, I'm going to take you up on that. No, doubt about that.
Our people will talk to your people, and by that, I mean, we'll say yes right now.
Yeah. Oh, sugar, Zach. Well, hell of a show. Hell of a show.
Do we tease our tomorrow guest?
Do we tease our tomorrow guest? Holy shirts and pants. I was going to say, Rips better kids now.
We were gonna potentially use that, let them know as the closer, but maybe we get a new closer to end the show on.
Yeah, we could close it out in a different way this show.
Yeah.
We
Who knows?
we usually close it out with the music. Well, maybe we'll just close it out with the closer.
Yeah. Just maybe a different closer than before.
Yep. But he's not new to closing.
Not new to closing, but maybe new to new closing on the show. You know.
You know what? It's not the song that people think about, but he does like to have closing time, you know? One last call for alcohol. So finish your whiskey and beer and what? You like that one, or was that terrible?
This got out of that was good. It's not the song he's known for, but closing time.
But you know what? Closing time. One last call for alcohol. So finish a whiskey or beer. Closing time. You don't have to go home,
but you can't stay here. Some people in the chat have gotten it. We've gotten a few people.
We got it. Yep. Closing time. We'll see you tomorrow with Ryan Helsley. How about that? Cue the music. Oh. You playing?
Yeah.
Should I go?
You hit it. Yeah, go.
Oh, but hey, you know what? As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day. Have a night. Come back and join us tomorrow for another edition of Ryan Ripken Show live at 5 here, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook.